So today we're going to solve another LeetCode problem. LeetCode number 8, string to integer atoi, I don't know how to pronounce this thing, whatever. Yep, so we are going to solve this problem. Now this is a medium problem. Again, it's not that difficult, but if you go down and see the see this, that's a pretty low acceptance rate, 17.9%. Now the reason why this problem has such a low acceptance rate is because the number of cases in this problem. Now you can solve this problem, it's not that difficult, but the edge cases is what makes this problem pretty tricky to solve in just in one attempt. It took me 2 attempts to solve this problem because I'm pretty sick. So what this problem is that we need to implement myAtoi whatever function which converts a string to a 32-bit signed integer. So the algorithm is basically white spaces, so we need to remove white spaces if there is any white spaces, leading white spaces, okay, and then sign, of course, minus and plus, that's by signed integer, and then conversion, we have to of course convert string into integers, and we also need to skip any zeros if there's any zeros, and rounding. So let's say our number is lower than this number and higher than this number, so we can just simply round it down to these two numbers and return them. Pretty simple, right? It's not that. So actually let's go through some of the examples to understand what the problem is saying if you don't understand what's written in here. So as you can see, we have a string here that says 42. We need to return 42. Now it's pretty simple. As you can see, the explanation, the underlying characters are what is read in, and the caret is the current reader position. So 42, and since it's a string, we need to convert it to the integer straight away because there is no leading white spaces, and then there's also no sign, so we don't need to change anything, and then 42 is what they read in, and boom. And in this case, as you can see, there's a one white space, so that needs to be removed, and then there's a sign minus, so that needs to be there in the result, and then 0 needs to be removed, and then 42 is what they're going to read, and then return minus 42. And then in this example, now this is where it gets a bit tricky, because in this example, as you can see, the example is this big, but it returns this number, and everything after C is been ignored. So what this is basically, so it reads the first 4 numbers, since there's no white spaces, so it's gonna forget about that, and then there is no sign, so it's gonna forget about that as well. But when it reads the first 4 and after it moves to C, it just ignores every other characters that are after C. So basically what it says is that if we encounter a non-integer value, we are just going to ignore everything after that. So first off, of course, we need to remove the white spaces. So how do we do that? We have a function called lstrip. Okay, please ignore my this is so bad. In Python, that removes all the spaces in the beginning. Okay, that's why it's called left. If we were to remove anything from the right, then we would use right strip, and then we will have a string which doesn't have anything in okay, let's take an example here. Let's say our example is minus 42, and there is a leading space in here, right? So when we do the lstrip function, this one, so our answer is going to be this. So the white space in the beginning will be removed. Okay, so this is what our string is gonna look like. And then what we are going to do is we are going to have 3 variables. One is gonna be, let's say, I. We're going to initialize that to 0, and then we're going to have 1 for the sign, and 1 is going to be our result. After that, we are going to get the sign depending upon what the first character is. After we get our sign, we're going to save it to sign. Okay, and then we are going to start our loop, and we are going to use our I as the pointer to move in the string. Okay, and at the same time, we're also going to check whether our character on the index I is a number. Okay, that's what we're going to, god damn, that's a pretty, okay. And then what we're going to do, we're going to have a, let's say, I don't know, variable in the loop, let's call it digit, and dig, and then we're going to convert the stringy digit to the integer, and then we will check whether our answer lies within the range of whatever that range was. So if it falls within the range, then it's fine. If it doesn't, then we will just simply return these two numbers. Okay, we clear on that. Then we will save the answer and the result, and then we will increment our I, and then we will just return the number whatever we get. And also we need to don't forget about the sign. I hope this entire thing makes sense. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. When I do this code, you will understand what I'm saying in this solution. Okay, so first what we're gonna do is of course get our range, and then what we're going to do is we are going to strip using remove all the white spaces. So we are going to else strip. I hope this makes sense. So we need a case where there's nothing in the string, so which I didn't talk about it, so I'm sorry about that. I should have mentioned that as well. So if there's nothing in the string, we will simply return 0. Now next thing is we need to initialize our variables. So first is going to be I, and the second one's going to be sign. So for now, let's make sign 1, assign 1 to the sign, and then we will have a result which is going to be 0. And then we will check the first element of our string, which is obviously going to be the sign. So if the first element of our string is, we're going to set sign to 1, and we're going to move 1, and let's say if that's not the case, if it's something else, let's say, actually let's put elif here. Elif it's si double equals, let's say if it's minus sign, we're going to set our sign to -1, and of course we're going to move our pointer. Because after that is done, we are going to start our loop. So I should be less than length, and at the same time we're going to check whether the character in the ith index in the string is a digit. Okay, and then we're going to have a variable that is going to store our character in an integer form, and then we're going to just save that digit into our result. We're going to first multiply result with 10, and then we're going to add our digit. I hope this makes sense. So let's say our number was 42, so the result is first going to have 4, and then when 2 comes, we are going to multiply 4 by 10, that makes it 40, and then we're going to add 2, that makes it 42. Okay, and then we're going to check for potential overflows. So how are we going to do that? We're going to just write if statement if our result is greater than int max. Wait, that's not correct. Yep. And if it is, we're going to simply return int max. That is if our sign is positive. Else we're going to return int minimum. And if that's not the case, we are simply going to increment I by 1, and then we're going to return our result. And don't forget about the sign, we need to just simply multiply the sign. Okay, this should work. This is the entire code. It's 27 lines. Like I said, it's not that difficult. So let's run it and check. As you can see, this works, and it's a pretty efficient solution. The time complexity, I would say O of n, because we are only running through the characters in the string once. So yeah, if you guys liked my solution, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, will be fantastic. And I'll catch you in the next one. Till then, see ya.